What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Breakdown Sportscast. I'm your good friend and host, Corey Willis. Hope everyone out there is doing well on a Sunday. Hope you guys enjoyed championship week of the college football season. It was a great weekend indeed, and now things are set. We now know who is in the college football playoff for this season. So, yeah, overall, guys, I hope everyone is doing well out there on a Sunday evening. As always, guys, we appreciate you all listening in on the show. You know where to find us. You can find us on a bevy of your favorite social media platforms. We're on X, Instagram, TikTok at BD Sportscast. You can find all of our content there. If you listen to us on podcast format, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you can find our podcast there. All of our past and present episodes of the Breakdown Sportscast, you can find us on there as well. And if you're listening to us on our live simulcast here on our official YouTube channel and also our official Twitch channel at Breakdown Video Game Cast, we appreciate all of your support on there as well, guys. So leave a like, comment, subscribe to all of our social media platforms here on our YouTube channel or Twitch, wherever you're at. We appreciate you guys' support as we try to lock in and get to 100 subscribers, guys. If we can get to 100 subscribers, we'll put your name into a raffle for some free swag of your favorite school of your choosing, courtesy of Chris and I. It's a holiday season, and we want to give back to you good folks out there for staying tuned with us here on the Breakdown Sportscast. So, yeah, guys, tell your friends about us. Let them know who we are, and that we are here to bring out some of the best content here on the platforms that we provide for you guys. So, yeah. As always, you know who I'm with. I'm with my good friend and co-host. He is Chris Bolton. Chris, what's going on, man?
What's up? What's up, man? Same old, same old. Just ready to get into it. Talk about this playoff and all the fallout from the playoffs and what the committee has done, how Notre Dame's taking the news and all that good stuff.
You know, Chris, J. Cole has been in the lab for the last several years working on his next studio album called The Fall Off. You look at this college football committee, man. This was their album called The Fall Off right here, boy. Because I got some things to say. So about some choices being made about some of these teams out here. I think it's a little bit ridiculous.
It's quite interesting what they have cooked up, what the committee has cooked up. So we go ahead and get into it.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into it, folks. Won't keep you guys for long here, but yeah, everything is set now, Chris. We now know who's going to the college football playoff. We had a great weekend of championship conference games out there. And yeah, none other than teams like Georgia sealed their fate. They're locked in on the CFP now, officially, and it wasn't like it was out of the question that a team like Georgia would not be in there. Clearly, seeing what we've seen. But yeah, the Georgia Bulldogs beating Alabama, taking them to the woodshed. But probably the biggest thing, Indiana, Chris, showing up, showing out, showcasing why they are the top dog, and legitimately now they are number one after beating Ohio State on Saturday night. I'll say this, Chris. It was that was a heck of a football game. You pretty much saw two of the best teams in college football go toe to toe with one another in that Big Ten championship game. And hey, shout out to Kurt Signetti. This was not a fluke by any stretch of the imagination. They came, they saw, they conquered in that game, and they pulled out the stops when they needed to, and they made the plays that they needed to win that ball game, Chris. So, what were your thoughts about Indiana shocking the college football world by beating the Ohio State Buckeyes, a team that was, man, they were looking scary each and every week.
Yeah, no, it's a big win from the Hoosiers. I mean, it is a bit of a surprise, but we respect Coach Signetti. We have a lot of respect for Indiana on this platform on our podcast, and ultimately, I thought Ohio State is a better team. I still feel like if they meet up again, I think I will favor Ohio State in the matchup. But Indiana showing why it's a legit game. These are two evenly matched teams, and they found a way to win. They kept it low scoring. The defense was just stifling out there. What a game from Indiana's defense, limiting Ohio State's receivers and that offense, and just big time football from Indiana. So this is a group that is they're here, and we have to definitely, everybody in the nation needs to recognize that Indiana is a national championship contender. Okay, don't be shocked when they make the Final Four or if they make the national championship game. They are for real. And so, big ups to them. You won the conference championship, which I'm sure was the goal that they had in the offseason. Hopefully you don't ride that high too much, and now you continue on the journey and you try to chop down that tree and get the national championship.
Yeah. Look, that's all you can say, man. It was a great win by the Hoosiers. But hey, you also learned about Ohio State as well, Chris. Ohio State is still one of the best teams in all of college football. And it wouldn't be surprising that we see this game again in the playoffs because both of these teams are really, really good at what they do. So, yeah, I think the Big Ten championship was just a little snippet of what's to come in the CFP. And look, I couldn't be more excited about what's to come heading into the coming weeks of this playoffs. So yeah, man. But yeah, just when we thought that championship week couldn't get any crazier with Indiana winning, Chris, you flip the channel to ABC. Duke and Virginia's playing. They're the last bastion, Chris. They're the last bastion in the Power Four in terms of championship games. And would you look at that? Duke comes out on top and ruins. Well, so we thought. We thought that it would ruin everything for the ACC. Not so fast.
They brought the chaos that I was calling for, Corey.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Look, if you Bob Chesney from James Madison, hey, look, you dapping up Duke big time.
Oh, they locked in.
Yeah,
twin, forever, twin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
And you're Miami.
Yeah, if you're Miami as well too, yeah, you dapping up both those teams.
Shout out to former defensive coordinator Manny Diaz. We appreciate you, boy. You still a Cane at heart. It sounds like.
Apparently, look, I think Miami needs to gift Manny Diaz a gift basket after that performance last night. Because man,
big win by Duke. You don't make the playoff, but you bust everything wide open. It got a little sweaty there for a minute. It got unnecessarily sweaty there, Corey. They were up double digits in the fourth, and then Virginia came storming back, tied the game up. But Duke found a way.
They found a way.
They got the dub, but fun game, definitely a fun game. And hey, this is something for Duke to build on. You win the conference championship game, clean up some non-conference losses that you have, and it could be you here in the playoff. So, because we can't forget about that Illinois game that they lost.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there are some things I'm sure that they'll look to clean up this offseason. But hey, this is something. This is a stepping stone, a building block for this program. Because Duke wants to be a contender. Duke can be a Vanderbilt. They have
Yeah,
all the resources to be very much like Vanderbilt of the ACC. And so we'll see how things continue for them going forward, Corey.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely gonna be during like the off season. I know me and you are gonna be looking at their recruiting and everything. It's not over yet for some prospects out there. There's still some good quality talent looking for some new homes um, heading into their collegiate year. So we'll see what happens indeed, Chris. But just
Yeah, I bet there'll be a player in the portal too.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really what I'm referring to in terms of the portal. I'm sure they're going to be putting in that work
Mhm.
to gain a good portal class heading into the off season, into next season. So yeah,
Hot take, bold prediction, Corey.
okay, yeah,
Vanderbilt and Duke will both have
hmm
top 10 portal classes.
nice. I can see that. I can see that. Look, with the rate that Vanderbilt is going, shoot, man, I think Vandy's gonna be making a lot of teams out in the SEC and just throughout the country look a little silly. So
hmm hmm
so I think that could happen. Both Duke and Vandy, showing out in portal play.
Yes, sir.
Grabbing some of that top talent out there. So look, I'm not gonna rule them out at all. Yeah, look, you get one of the top quarterbacks prospects in the class this year to Vandy. Look, anything is possible. Anything is possible in the words of Kevin Garnett.
Right. And then Duke just had one of the top quarterback prospects in last year's portal class.
Yeah.
So I mean they're making waves. They're making
hmm
waves.
Yeah. Exactly, man. So yeah, we'll definitely see what happens. But yeah, just a big moment for a lot of these teams, Chris. And yeah, I think now the stage is pretty much set into seeing, hey, can who's going to come out of this CFP on top? Is it
hmm
Georgia? Is it Indiana? Does Ohio State have something up their sleeve? Is Texas A&M going to bulldoze through everybody, and we're not going to see it coming? Like, well, what's going to happen?
Yeah, it's there's a lot for us to take in. And then you got teams like Notre Dame, Corey, that are looking like Squidward when SpongeBob and Patrick are outside playing. And Squidward was just sitting upstairs watching out the window while everybody has fun in the college football playoff. They ain't gonna be doing nothing.
Nothing, nada, Benito. Well, that now segues, Chris, and look, I have the bracket up for people to see a little bit more closer. So the stage is set. We now know where everyone's seated at. As we can see, Chris, Notre Dame is not in this seating chart at all because they got forced out. The committee said no, they're not one of our top 12 teams this year.
The committee said Miami present, Alabama present, James Madison present, and then they looked at the list of schools. Notre Dame was waiting. Ain't this my homeroom? I was supposed to be in the playoff.
Oh my
You in the
god.
wrong class, buddy. You gotta go to the other class. You didn't make the playoff class. It's tough, Corey. It's tough.
It is. It definitely is, Chris. And that leaves me to asking some of the big questions now. So, you leave out Notre Dame, a team that
hmm
lost to both Miami and Texas A&M pretty much at the beginning of the season.
hmm
And they figure everything out, and they pretty much dominate the rest of their schedule throughout the way. They look like the Notre Dame team that we had hoped to see throughout the whole season. Okay. My question is, Chris, when you see a schedule like that where obviously Notre Dame loses to pretty much two college football playoff teams in Miami and A&M, hell, they're playing against one another.
Right.
um, you did ask yourself the question: what is the meaning of a strength of schedule, or in talking about strength of schedule, when we don't really look at the full body of work? Or better yet, what do we factor in talking about strength of schedule? Is strength of schedule, is it the body of work? Or is it just when it's convenient at a certain time of the season? Because I'm led to believe now, Chris, like a strength of schedule, like we're putting air quotes on that. Like I don't even think we're looking at the beginning, middle, and the end of a team's schedule correctly. Because when you look at Alabama, and let me pull up Alabama's schedule. I have it right here. You start the season off, Chris. We all know about it. We talked about it. You lose to Florida State, 31-17. You get housed in Tallahassee. Point blank period. At that point, you then go on this run up to the Oklahoma game. You end up losing that 23-21. And then you lose to Georgia, of course, in the SEC championship game yesterday. But before that, before I get to my point, you did beat Georgia earlier in the season at their home turf. You break their streak. That's big. I'll give you that. But in terms of the body of work, I know Kalen DeBoer was talking about, look, their strength of schedule is much more important um, to why they should be in the discussion of being a playoff team. And look, it just to show you that, hey, at the end of the day, they based Alabama staying in there by beating Georgia and losing to Georgia in the SEC championship game. They say, hey, you beat the team that beat you. You still made it into the SEC championship game, but you lost to them. That's still enough to put you in. Okay, but man, uh, I guess that one win against Georgia definitely trumps everything that had happened prior or even after that, Chris, in losing to Florida State, which is literally a worse loss than anything that Notre Dame had did. So why are we why are we really penalizing Notre Dame? That is my question.
Because you're not in the conference. That's it. It's that simple. They're not in the conference. You pick and choose who you playing. Yes, you played elite competition with A&M and Miami. You lost both of those games. Your premier win is what, USC,
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
and Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. A
That
team.
win that win doesn't look as good when Miami beats them too and
Yeah.
makes them have a, they don't if they would have beat Miami, then it's different. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, the committee was not. You're not leaving out the SEC runner up. Alabama beat Georgia on the road in the regular season. They played an SEC schedule. That team's not getting left out. Um, Notre Dame needs to join a conference. Point blank. Period. If you don't want this to happen to you, join the conference and it won't happen to you. Although Notre Dame does have something in writing now going forward that they're a top 12 team, they won't be left out. But as it goes for this season, the reason you were left out is because you're not in the league. You're not in a conference. You're an independent. And so that's what it is. Join a conference. You're in a conference in basketball. You're in the ACC in basketball. You telling me you couldn't have won the ACC this year in football? We saw how lopsided and how crazy the league was this year. I'm pretty sure if you are a college football playoff team that you think you are, Notre Dame, you could have won the league this year. You know, you could have made it to the ACC championship game. So join the league, join the conference, just join the ACC, and all this goes away. Join the ACC, make I don't know. Yeah, at that point, we're probably going to lose a whole bunch of rivalry games because I think Notre Dame's going to be a bunch of scared cats to keep my language, good the YouTube airwaves, and will bow out of like they have been. They don't play Michigan anymore, but I'm sure they won't be playing the USC's and other teams. You'll probably see them play lesser opponents in the non-conference slate since they would have conceded and joined the conference. But that's why you weren't in the conference, and the committee is not going to leave out the second best team according to the two teams that made the conference championship game in the top premier conference of college football, the SEC. So, if anything, James Madison was the one that really is the head scratcher. Um, as to James Madison getting the nod over Notre Dame to me, but I had no problems with it. I just thought it should have been ranked this way from the get go, and the fact that you pull this move at the very end is what makes it very suspicious and crazy.
Yeah, no. I get that way, Chris. Look, I've been a proponent for a while, and while I understand why Notre Dame really doesn't want to go into a conference because they don't want to share rev with other teams out there. They want to keep all of that money to themselves with the NBC deal. You know, when you watch Notre Dame football, they're synonymous with being on NBC. That's been a thing for years now.
Mm-hmm.
They want that. That is them. It's lucrative to Notre Dame folks, but yeah, when you're getting taken out of the equation in something like the college football playoff, yeah, it does hurt you a lot when you're not in a conference. And yes, they are getting the short end of the stick because they're not in a conference at all. Yeah, I think they would win. They would have been in the ACC championship game if they were a part of the ACC. I think it's something that they need to be thinking about. I really do. Because man,
Yeah.
if they don't, they're gonna keep getting the short end of the stick every single season. So yeah, I think when you look at it that way, Chris, yeah, that is one of the reasons why the committee made the decision that they made. I was just looking at it at the end of the day and saying, like, look, if you were to take the conference talk aside, if you would have set that aside, Notre Dame has looked more consistent than Alabama
They have.
in the
They
grand
have.
scheme of things. Even if you do look at their schedule, they've looked more consistent. They have handled their business. I mean, let's be honest. They did beat Boise State as well. I know Boise State is not the Boise State of last season. There's no Ashton Giantis out there. But hey, Boise State won their conference. You know, and, hey,
Mm-hmm.
there should be some credit given to Notre Dame after losing two straight games against two formidable foes that are now going to go head to head against each other in the college football playoff. That being Miami and Texas A&M. You gotta give them some credit, but I understand why they probably thought about that and they put that into the equation by leaving them out. One other thing to note, and that's what kind of like makes me get a little bit more angrier in Alabama being in here, Chris. Texas is another three-loss team in the SEC. Like, why are they getting why are they getting the short end of the stick as well? I guess you're looking at that and saying like, hey, well they didn't go to the SEC championship, but they beat
Yeah.
Oklahoma and they beat Texas A&M.
Yeah. You're not penalizing Alabama for losing. Granted, it wasn't pretty, but you're
No.
not going to penalize a team for losing in a bonus game, a
Mm.
conference championship game. Because if we do that, Corey, ain't nobody going to be playing in conference championship games anymore. So that's the thing. You can't do that. You cannot penalize Bama for losing in that game. If you want the SEC championship game to matter, the Big Ten championship game to matter, the Big 12 championship game to matter, you can't penalize teams for losing in their conference championship game. Because when you start doing that, we're gonna end up having Arkansas playing Missouri for the SEC championship after the top four teams in the league uh, decline the invitation to play in the SEC championship game.
Look, hey, at that point, folks, that's when you start getting into the semantics of the whole situation. And look, it's unfortunate, and it is the truth. I'm not gonna lie. It is the inconvenient truth of the matter that yeah, teams will start opting out of conference championship games if this happens. It will suck. It will look terrible. But man, I'm of the opinion, Chris, that I think no matter what, I think every conference champion, it doesn't matter if you're Power Four or G5, it it all feels like we like more and more we need to go to a 16 team playoff. I know that sucks. I know people are saying like why we keep adding teams in, but I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Conference championships matter. If we want to keep conference championships alive, maybe going to a 16 team playoff won't hurt. Just saying. Because at least you can put all of those conference champions into the playoff and they can probably get a bye and then just figure it out by the other at-large teams duking it out to make it to those teams that won their conference championship and go forward that way. Will there be a big change in terms of scheduling and when this thing starts? Hell yeah, it would. It would definitely change a lot. But man, it would probably help a lot if we were to determine that and get that in because man, we're at a crossroads now with some of these programs. We know Notre Dame really doesn't want to go to a conference, even though they should, but they're being left out. You know, you having teams like Texas who beat A&M, a big win to finish off their regular season, and they get left out. I'm just
Hey, I'm
saying.
just telling them. I tell them just suck it up. That's tough. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say expand the playoff. If anything, the playoff should be less. It should be less teams. We should go back to 4.
Hey,
Maybe
look.
8.
Hey, if you went to 4 or you went to 8, hey, look, I'll be right there with you. Hey, look, it's unfortunate, but hey, suck it up. Look, man, you gotta win out. You better not give no reason of not being in there at the end of the season.
We expanded the playoff, and then the first time Notre Dame gets left out, they want to act like some crybabies and act like some up their butt, and then want to say, you know what, we're not gonna play in the bowl at all. In general,
That was
we
crazy.
opting out. And that's lame. That's so weak. And so I'm nah. Notre Dame can kick rocks for how they are acting. It's embarrassing what Notre Dame, the college football program, and what the higher ups at the university have elected to do. At least, at least Florida State, when everything went down, they still played in the ball game and got their ass whooped like some men. They took it on the chin from Georgia and everything. They still accepted the bowl bid and played after all that went down. You don't make the playoff because you didn't do enough on the football field to solidify yourself as a top 12 team. You want to go run off and say we're not going to play in a bowl game at all? Piss off. That's why I say to that. I'm done with Notre Dame. They got me mad for real with how they act.
Yeah, look, I was thinking about it too. I was like, man, because I had to read it a couple times. I'm like, oh, they're not playing in any bowl game. I'm like, well, they really wanted to go to the playoffs. They felt like that they had that they did everything that they could do after losing those 2 games. I'm not saying that they didn't. They could have easily lost some of those other games. They could have easily lost to USC, but they figured it out. But at first, I was like, oh. Well, I mean, I guess I get what they're saying, but us having the conversation now, it definitely doesn't bode well. It's not a good look, I should say, in terms of them just giving up. I'll go off in the saying even some of the other bowl games, like Iowa State, Kansas State, both opted out of their bowl games. They're getting $500,000 fines
Mm-hmm.
from the Big 12, respectively, for not going into a
Yeah,
bowl game.
y'all costing us a bag. We
Yeah,
got a bowl bid. Y'all, hey, y'all losing us some money. You know,
exactly.
we not finna lose the money as a conference. Y'all finna cough that up since you don't want to play in a bowl game.
Exactly. So yeah, that's crazy within itself. But hey, I will say this: it definitely helps Mississippi State a little bit by marketing the brand. So hey, man, appreciate Iowa State and Kansas State by doing that. But hey, I mean, they probably look at it like, hey, we'll have no coaches, of course, to coach the team. I'm sure they could find somebody that could have coached those bowl games. Of course, they just opted out and not wanted to do it. I thought that was a little piss poor as well. But I'm not gonna lie.
Agreed.
I'm keep that a book. Look, if you got these guys, they go out and they fight like hell throughout a whole season, and you just opt out and not go into a bowl game, like within that, not just Notre Dame, but even these teams. Like, what does that say about the leadership with some of these schools?
Man, these bowl games don't hit the same anymore, and we'll continue to see the ramifications of that as the college football playoff continues. This is playoff culture.
Mm-hmm.
This is the new when there was not a playoff, when it was the BCS system, and a long time ago, kids, before college football playoff existed, there was a this system called the BCS where the computers mixed in with the coaches and the AP poll would determine who the top teams in the nation were, the rankings, and the top 2 teams would play in the national championship game of one of the big time bowl games, whether it's Sugar Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl. You know, um, bowl games mattered. If you got a bid to a New Year's Day bowl, you were excited. Nine
We're
and three,
excited.
we going to the Cotton Bowl. Hey man, we had a good year. Let's do this. Um, Now going 6-6, 7-5, it doesn't matter that much anymore when everything is centered around being one of the top 12 teams in the playoff. And we see it now with how Notre Dame is acting. You
Mm-hmm.
could have easily accepted a bowl bid to another bowl that's outside of the playoff and took out your frustrations on whoever you were about to play and get back in the lab and go on your revenge tour for the 2026 season. They elected to do something else. These other schools, yeah, you lost coaches, but still, these guys deserve to have one more hurrah, one more run together, one more game for the seniors who gave their heart and blood, sweat, and tears to the university for these last 4 to 5, 6 years in some cases. And now you're elected not to play in these games. These is it's a shame what's happened to bowl season, Corey. What we grew up watching, it doesn't hit the same anymore. It does not hit the same anymore. And I think it's a byproduct of the playoff. As we continue to expand this sucker, you'll see more and more teams acting like this.
Yeah, and it's definitely unfortunate, Chris. You go in thinking that, and look, there was a lot of people that was going in thinking that putting in actual humans um into the equation to make sure that you had the right 4 to 12 teams in this thing would be beneficial for college football. And yeah, over time, we've seen other things being added into the equation. NIL, transfer portal, that goes hand in hand. But you've seen all of these things being factored into building teams, building excitement, each season, and yeah, it has
Yeah.
diluted the product
The product is
substantially.
stepped on.
Yeah.
The committee is out here trying to predict how well a game would look on the field.
Hmm.
That's the sole reason that Florida State was left out of the playoff a couple years ago because
Yeah.
they didn't have their quarterback anymore. It didn't matter what they did on the field to deserve that right to be in the playoff. The committee was like, "You're not as good as what you were. We're gonna keep you out."
Yeah.
So it's tough, man. I mean, everything just how these teams are determined to be playoff teams changes by the year.
It does. It does. And yeah, man, it's definitely uncharted territories that we're in now. It's different times that we're in terms of college football and the the whole base or structure of what it once was. It has changed now. And you have different biases being placed into it now, and that brings up a whole different can of worms, and
Yeah.
money's being thrown left and right like no one's business. And hey, it's different.
I say we take you seen that episode of SpongeBob where Patrick was like, "How about we take Bikini Bottom and push it over here?"
There.
I,
Yes.
I say we just take the BCS system and use it to determine the top 12 and push the teams in the playoff. We should do that. Just combine the two. We'll keep the playoff as it is, but let's use the BCS computers to assist and aid. Because I don't know, man. It's so much bias now. Even even with the committee, they can act like they are unbiased. They know what they are doing, and just as a little tangent, there should only be one playoff poll, Corey. I think you should just let the rankings continue as they are throughout the season, and when the conference championship wraps up, drop your playoff. You doing this weekly playoff poll thing for the ratings and the money is make you like some head asses, committee.
It is. Look, it's making them look foolish. It's making the AP poll look foolish. Like the AP poll, man. We should kick that thing to the curb and leave it in Wyoming somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a nuisance. It's a nuisance. It's not beneficial to the sport. It creates these crazy talking points that earlier in the season we were having, where what's the meaning of this? What's the meaning of putting this team here? And yeah, it's not conducive of what people really see on the field week in and week out. It's just not. If we had something else with some more meat to the bone to it, yeah, we could probably factor that into the equation, but we're not there with the AP poll. We gotta wait all the way till November for this CFP rankings. So yeah, it's a lot, Chris. A lot needs to be done in terms of bringing it back and making sure the sport is taken care of in proper fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely starts with putting the adults to the room and figuring out what can be done, and actually listening to the fans as well, because it's only so much more that the fans can do in terms of getting through the big wigs on this. We're getting blue to the face talking about this week in and week out, Chris.
Yeah, no, it's tough. It feels like a lot of the decision makers are not making decisions with the best interest in college football in mind, and so and then we get left with situations like this. I mean, how often is a 12 seed going to win the national championship, Corey? Let's just keep it a buck. Let's keep, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we'll document this as the playoff continues. I don't think we're going to see many situations where a 12 seed will win a national championship, let alone an 11, a 10, or 9. So we'll see how everything plays out. But you know, the how things have been going currently as it's currently constructed doesn't feel like what's best for the game. And as someone as two people who sit here and do a podcast talking about college football, I don't need them messing up my college football, man. I don't need the game being messed up. This is why we're here.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the reason why we're here, man. Look, you brought in humans and took the computer out to hopefully make the sport better and add some more value to it. And here we are. We're still, having these conversations, Chris, on did we make the right moves?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man.
It is. It is. It is.
So yeah, man. Yeah, that's it's definitely set. Of course, I'll go ahead and we'll definitely just look at some of these games in terms of the excitement, because I think we can still look at some of these games being very interesting, of course. But it's all set. You got Alabama and Oklahoma taking on each other, Chris, in the first round.
The rematch.
Yeah, we talk about running it back. We running it back for real. This time it's in Norman. So hey.
Ooh, we know what happened the last time Alabama was in Norman.
Yeah, we did. Just real quick, in terms of that SEC championship game, we've talked about it all season, Chris. The way that Alabama goes out week to week and fail to run the football is ridiculous. -3 rushing yards. You got to be kidding me. You're not going to win any game against anybody, CFP or not, just getting -3 rushing yards when you ain't get anything. That's bad. That was abysmal yesterday.
Yeah. Terrible. And shall I say a sign of things to come? I know we will talk more about the matchup in the future podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel really good about Alabama winning this game. I know they are favorites. Hey, man, Mateer's getting some time to get healthier. Who's to say that he hasn't just been playing injured this whole time, Corey?
Who's to say?
There's a good chance that we see a different John Mateer when these two teams actually meet in the playoff with this time to heal and get healthier.
Mm-hmm.
So, just putting it out there. Not to say Alabama can't win this game, but if you're going to just drop back and be passing that thing all game on the road against Oklahoma's tough defense, we'll see how that works out for you, man. But that's going to be quite the matchup. But yeah, you can't be Alabama with all these blue chip players and not able to run the football. That is a philosophy problem. Mm-hmm. The talent is there. The talent has not dropped off at Alabama yet, but that is a coaching philosophy game plan problem. And I'm gonna say this now, Corey. I don't know how long Kellen DeBoer is gonna be able to make it as a head coach at Alabama football, where you're unable to run the football. These people went through the last 15, 16 years of Nick Saban, punching everybody in the mouth. Alabama football is based on being able to run the football. Going back 60, 70, 80 years, they have always been able to dominate the line of scrimmage and play Alabama football, which is running the football and winning in the process. Even with the high-flying receivers, Corey, they still were able to run the football when Nick Saban adapted to how the game is played now. You're telling me you can't run the football? This ain't gonna last, buddy. You're not gonna make it in T-Town unable to run the ball. Just saying. Alabama fans, they happy that they made the playoff, but I'll tell you right now, I know a few of them that are not looking forward to how this playoff will shake out. They already got their heads down, tails tucked, ready to lose to Oklahoma. The fan base is going to be on his ass if they lose in the first round to Oklahoma. You better off not making a playoff if you go out there and get embarrassed against Oklahoma. Kalen DeBoer will be officially on the hot seat, Corey, if things play out the way I anticipate them playing out in that first round matchup. That's all I'm gonna say.
And that's going to be unfortunate, Chris. It definitely is. Look, I was listening to so many different fans, of course, and just looking at the game myself. You bring in Ryan Grubb. You think you're going to get better offensively. And, hey, I'll say this. The passing attack for Alabama has been the reason why you've gotten to the big dance to begin with. You got some really good pieces there. Jeremy Bernard, we didn't go into this season saying that Jeremy Bernard was going to be the number one receiver on that team, but guess what? He's come out. He's played his heart out each and every week. He show up and show out. Mm-hmm. Ryan Williams, just a toss up. He is not the same Ryan Williams that we saw last year in his freshman season.
It's a Ryan Grubb problem.
Yeah.
So, it's a Grubb problem. He's getting JSN. Grubb did this to Jackson Smith and Jigba last season with the Seahawks. And Jackson Smith and Jigba, we see what he's doing now. That's all I'm saying. I think it's a Grubb thing. JSN been going stupid this season with the Seahawks. I think Ryan Williams is still Ryan Williams. I just feel like it's a philosophy thing playing under Coach Grubb. No shade to Coach Grubb.
And no. It definitely could be that's the case. And it's unfortunate because, man, you got a generational player in Ryan Williams, and you can't properly give him the ball to complement someone like Jeremy Bernard, because it always seems like he has to do everything. You're not running the football. He pretty much has to do just about everything. Mm-hmm. All of the heavy
everything falls on Ty Simpson and receivers.
Yeah, exactly.
And no Cuevas either. It's tough.
Right.
You can tell that they ain't got no Cuevas out there.
Yeah. Definitely missing Cuevas yesterday was definitely another big factor on why they lost as well. So, who knows? You can get that man back in the fold against Oklahoma. Maybe something can happen. Maybe you can make something shake. But, yeah, I'd say number one thing, not being able to run the football is that is a slap in the face of every running back that has been in the backfield for the Alabama Crimson Tide in the last decade and a half. Ever since Saban had got there, and even before then. What do you mean you can't run the football?
Sean Alexander played at Alabama.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy. It is insane. That's all I gotta say, Chris. That has to be fixed. It is what it is at this point of the year. It's definitely been a disappointment in seeing the Alabama Crimson Tide not being able to run the football effectively. And I know we're going to be talking about this game as we get closer to it, but I just had to pinpoint that out because, man, you lose the SEC championship and then you still get to go in the playoffs, but you got to play against Oklahoma, a team that clearly had your number in the regular season. They might have your number again, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we definitely will.
So yeah, man. But other games to note: James Madison taking on Oregon. I think Oregon's going to win that game. Unless Bob Chesney, he wants to make a big statement as he heads out west, Chris. He won't be playing. Well, he will be playing Oregon.
James Madison, but man, that's tough. That's tough.
It is gonna be tough. So
it's tough.
It's gonna be
That's four.
It's gonna be a right. It's gonna be a beatdown. That's all I'm gonna say. But James Madison in Oregon. That's gonna be maybe not a fun time for James Madison, but we'll see what happens. Miami versus A&M. That's an interesting ball game. Who's going to come out of that game on top? You know, we've talked about Marcel Reed and his inconsistencies at times during the season, Chris. We saw what happened with him in the Texas game. Can he get everything set aside to have a good game in this one? Look, Miami's been playing some really good football. I was the one that had pretty much said, look, if the committee wanted to put Miami into the playoffs, I could see a reason why they would put them in, because they've consistently won the games that they needed to finish out the regular season on a high note. It didn't look pretty in the middle of the season, but they've looked dangerous to this point. Could they confuse someone like Marcel Reed, who's been very sporadic?
It's gonna be
I'm willing to find
an interesting game.
Yeah.
I mean, Marcel Reed, Carson Beck, both of them can torch you, and both of them can put you in the game.
Exactly.
So the game will be fun. It'll be entertaining at least.
Right. So I'm interested in watching that game, and Tulane taking on Ole Miss.
Tough, but interesting.
Interesting.
Because we don't know what Ole Miss is going to look like,
right?
Without Lane Kiffin, so that's what makes it interesting. But Tulane, we have seen them play before, and Ole Miss has won, but still you got that little caveat in there.
Right. So yeah, man. That's pretty much your first round games in a nutshell. We'll be talking about them as we get closer and closer to the start of the playoffs, Chris. But yeah, overall, man, it was a great week of championship week. I enjoyed some of the games. Look, that Texas Tech, the boys balling, man. And that oil money is coming through, Chris.
Hey, I'll just say this now. Don't be surprised if Texas Tech wins the national championship.
They look really, really good.
Don't be surprised if they win it all. I'm not saying they're going to beat Ohio State. I'm not saying they'll beat Indiana. I'm not saying they'll beat Georgia. Just don't be surprised if such things happen.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. I'm definitely with you because, man, I enjoyed watching them over the weekend. I think if you haven't seen Texas Tech all season and that was your first time seeing them, well, me and Chris have been saying it. They're on a mission right now. They definitely got.
You'll get your chaos, Corey, because if they mess around and if a Big 12 team wins the national championship, and I ain't talking about Texas or Oklahoma, but this iteration of the Big 12, if Texas Tech wins the national championship, boy, that's going to turn the college football landscape upside down.
You're right. You're absolutely right, Chris.
Then the Big 12 gonna be walking around like Pac, like, where's our guaranteed teams in the playoff?
It's gonna be crazy.
SEC talking about we need guaranteed teams. Where's our guaranteed teams?
Hey man, they're gonna be out with the chest all out and everything, man. It's gonna be crazy. Oh man, look, I'm interested in seeing what Texas Tech does in the playoffs. I'm interested to see what all of these teams do. I think, it all jokes and critiques aside, I think this is going to be a fun winter season of watching playoff games this year in college football. So give me the chaos. Give me the big time games. I'm ready to watch it all.
Same.
So yeah, man. But yeah. Before we head out of here, Chris, we gotta go ahead and do it. Our Chief of the Week in Championship Week. Still gotta give out that Chief of the Week award. The Chief of the Week award for Championship Week goes to Darian Menza, Chris. I gotta give it to Darian Menza. Look, we talked about chaos. You were one of the main proponents, Chris, in saying, look, chaos has to ensue. Give it to us. The fans need it. And look at that. Duke wins the ACC championship game. Darren Mizza looked good. He was 19 for 25, 196 yards with 2 touchdowns. He ended the game with an 82.1 QBR in the ball game to win it. So, yeah, shout out to Darren Mizza, a former Tulane quarterback, Chris, making his name known to the ACC and winning that game on Saturday.
Yeah, no, shout out to the Blue Devils, shout out to Menza, stepping the big time, their big portal get this past off season, and came through clutch. Showed why they raised some NIL pennies to bring him to the fold, and got the dub. So a big win, big performance from Menza.
Exactly. I definitely agree with you, Chris. So, yeah, great job by Darren Menza. He looked good in that game and winning the ACC championship. So, had to give it to him. He is our chief of the week in championship week, indeed. So, but yeah, Chris, that's it. And another great episode, sir. A great weekend of college football, and yeah, man. I can't wait for us to talk about our awards. I know we'll have to, sit back and try to, give out our own awards here on the Breakdown Sportscast to go over some of our top players, of course, as we're getting towards Heisman awards and some of the big awards that we give out in college football. So yeah, man, we'll definitely we'll work in the background to do that. Provide some great content for you all to give our thoughts on who was some of the best players in college football this season. So yeah, man. But yeah, before we head out of here, Chris, we got some outros. Let the good folks know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, you can find me on X, or as I call it, Twitter, Chris_Bolton_12, and on Instagram at Chris.Bolton_. Holla at your boy.
Awesome. Yeah, and folks, find me on X at Listen to KSW. I'm on there talking college football, professional wrestling, all of that. Definitely follow me on there. So yeah, guys. Yeah, we'll be back sometime next week, of course. We'll me and Chris work on some more stuff for you all. Yeah, we'll probably be giving out some awards, some of our top players of the college football season. So we're heading into the playoffs. So yeah, guys, definitely tap in with us there. And of course, we definitely apologies for the last episode. Had some issues with the equipment, but I think I got it working. Of course. So yeah, guys, we'll definitely fill you guys in if anything, any issues arise with all of that. But we want to make sure we get these episodes out with you here on the YouTube and all the socials, of course, indeed. So yeah, the guys, just chime in with us. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what was your favorite moment from championship weekend. Me and Chris love to get your feedback as always. And yeah, guys, we'll be locked in here as always here on the Breakdown Sportscast. But for Corey Willis and Chris Bolton, you are listening to the Breakdown Sportscast. We will chat with y'all later. Peace.